The Midnight Walk is a first-person adventure into the darkness. The most striking element it has is the visuals. It's a game that could be created by the studio who created Coraline or Nightmare Before Christmas, and a game that looked very interesting to me. It has some great elements while also being disappointing in other areas. So, in this video I'll share with you my opinion on it, and hopefully help you out on whether you should play this game or not. Well, we're gonna start with the most original aspect of the Midnight Walk, and probably the first thing that catches your attention: the visuals. The game looks gorgeous. All the objects that you see in the game, the places, the characters, everything was actually built individually. It was handmade and later is scanned to shape the world that we can explore in the walk. The visuals and art style are striking and incredibly eye-catchy. Not only does it help to attract you into this world, but it also gives you that weird feeling and elevates the atmosphere, which is another element that I loved. The atmosphere in the Midnight Walk is cozy and inviting somehow. I thought the game would be much darker and horror themed, but to the contrary, I would say this could be a comfort game. Right from the start, the developers give you a message letting you know that this game should be experienced with headphones. And I would suggest following that advice because it truly helps experience a lot. The music and the world are so artistic that you should experience it that way. And that also helps you with a super interesting mechanic that they added, which is to close your eyes and follow the sound of your objective. This is a linear game, but sometimes you need to find an object or the direction of your next goal. I really like this mechanic. The story is good, but it didn't impress me nor did it hit as the game intended. Don't get me wrong, I think it's good, but it didn't blow me away. Someone stole the sun of this world, so you have to take Podboy, your adorable companion, to Moon Mountain, and you'll get to come across little villages along the way. Every chapter is a short story that you learn, and the way that you uncover the story of each little village or place is very nice. Every place has their own problem that you need to solve, and you get to learn the story while you progress bit by bit in the chapter. Some stories truly are deep and full of lessons. There's a narrator, and I thought that was pretty neat. It felt like a bedtime story. I really liked some of the characters and villages, especially the bodiless one. I'm gonna say something that you can take either as a compliment or as a criticism. The interesting part about the story for me were the little stories of the characters between the world. That was very interesting, and not the overall story plot. Personally, the fun for me was truly on the walk itself and not the goal. It's going to sound cliche, but the true treasure was in the experience along the way and not the destination. I feel like the creators tried to give you the Dark Souls message. You know, let the world fade, embrace the darkness. This place is better without fire and so on, but it just didn't hit for me. And maybe it is my idea, but I feel like one of the reasons that this story didn't stick with me that much is the gameplay. Sadly, the gameplay aspect is the most lacking in this title. I was expecting much more from it. It is what some people could call a walking simulator. You can only walk around and interact with some objects, but nothing more. When I saw the trailers for the game, I thought you were going to play as Podboy. He's just your companion through the journey. And you know what? That isn't a downside by itself actually. The problem is the underwhelming controls and abilities that you have. The game focuses on solving puzzles, which to be honest, are not difficult at all. You just command Podboy to stand in one place or light a fire and that's it. This is even more disappointing because the game tells you when and where you should interact with your companion to get to the next level. I thought the game was going to eventually add more mechanics and interesting ways to play. You even get a gun in the second chapter. Turns out you just need it to complete that level, and then they forget about it for the rest of the game. Let me make this clear. The gameplay in the first chapter is just walking around and giving orders to Podboy. Then, for the second one, you get a gun against the Mulgrim, which you just use for that section. Then, the game keeps on going for 4 chapters more without adding anything interesting. Another area that this title lacks is the enemy variety. There's only one variant of the enemy, and you just get around it by using stealth. You can distract them with Podboy or throw a candle, and then get away by hiding in a closet. You can peek to see if you're safe to continue, but there's no risk in peeking or anything like that. So in reality, you're not even hiding. You're just playing a waiting game, and that's all the game provides in the gameplay section. I think it would be a really cool and fun game if you were to play as Podboy, and maybe you had platforming and all that in this world, because everything else fits super well. In its defense, you can also play this game in virtual reality, and I do think this would be the intended approach. The gameplay makes more sense and overall, the experience would be enhanced by a lot. Basically, solving my only criticism that I have with it, the underwhelming gameplay. Aside from that, I also like that this game doesn't overstay its welcome. It's a short game, it probably is around 5-6 hours. I really appreciate that because it's rare to see these days. And it also helps because it doesn't feel that repetitive. So to solve the question, is it worth it? I already mentioned it before, but as a conclusion, I'll say that this game peaked in the second chapter for me. The Tale of the Mulgrim and the Bodiless Head Village was amazing for me. The story for Revenge was very interesting. The vengeance lesson is deep. You get to meet some cool characters, and the gameplay feels engaging and clever. Sadly, that feeling never came back to me throughout the Midnight Walk again. So, if you're interested in this game, just know that you'll find an intriguing world and characters with a cozy horror atmosphere, some beautiful visuals and handcrafted animations. But the gameplay is non-existent for the majority of the experience. But hey, those are my thoughts. Have you played the Midnight Walk? And if so, what are your thoughts on it? I would love to see them down in the comment section. And speaking about games with cool atmosphere, I just made a retrospective about Shadow of the Colossus, so in case you're interested in that, I'll leave this video for you. As always, thank you so much for watching. I am the Valley Knight, and I'll see you in the next video.